Well, a very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Kenya's most comprehensive political and public governance analysis show here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Definitely, this is the Candy Talk, and my name is Evan Sokinya. I'm here with Wakili Willis Otieno. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes.
On the 25th of June,
Yes.
the president gave an address, almost, I think that was something like 10 minutes or so. The speech that he gave after what we witnessed took place there. And a few days later, or rather the following day, I think he gave another address, and people were actually asking, which is which? Who is Ruto now? Is it the first address that we saw, the one that was terming the demonstrators as criminals and treasonous individuals, or the one that was now talking about sons and daughters, let's have a conversation? Which Ruto do you buy in this particular scenario?
There is only one Ruto in office. And that Ruto is the Ruto who the Kenyan people have told Ruto must go. Anything else that you hear is just sound.
Okay.
He thought he could intimidate the people of Kenya, he could threaten them, he could talk them out of this thing, he could lie his way out of this. It's not possible. The so-called criminal elements and treasonous elements are the very ones he was looking for the next day as sons and daughters of a conversation.
Yes.
They've seen through him. They don't believe him. And you're going to see Ruto flip-flopping every day on everything.
Okay.
That has now become his standard bearing. He will keep flip-flopping on everything because he doesn't seem to understand what is going on here. What is going on here, as I've said before, is the people have taken away their sovereignty from him. You will not threaten them, you will not intimidate them to give it back to you.
Okay.
You will not coerce them. You will not seduce them with your tongue. His mouth was taken away a long time ago.
Okay.
William Ruto's strongest asset was his mouth. He was a smooth liar. That was taken out a long time ago. And the people of Kenya, all in their unanimity, know him to be a liar. So there's nothing that will come out of his mouth that they'll ever believe. So be ready to witness flip-flopping 101 on every single issue. But the eyes must remain on the ball.
Okay.
This impasse will only be overcome when William Ruto and his entire establishment get out.
Okay.
And the people have an opportunity to, in a fresh election, choose their representative. Anything short of that, some people will say, no, he has a 5-year term, we must follow the constitution, we must follow the law. We are where we are because those laws that the people of Kenya made were no longer being followed. That is what brought us here. The political establishment stopped following the law a long time ago. They started ignoring that constitution long time ago. They became oppressors to the people long time ago. So it is the laws that we have in place being ignored that brought us here.
Okay.
Now you cannot tell the freedom fighters, the liberators, to now go and follow the law. That law was being used as a tool to oppress them. How do you take them back to that law with the same oppressors? It's not possible. They must first remove the oppressors. Then you can tell them, okay, let's find a mechanism. And Miguna has suggested we come up with a transitional authority that will superintend over an election for people to donate their sovereignty back to a new team. And William Ruto can qualify to run if he so desires. To a new team that will now govern the people based on the agreed tenets.
Okay.
And we don't even have to have these tenets written down. It is norms. We all know what are the normative values of this country.
Okay, okay. Okay, let's get this conversation really. There is this bit that is actually troubling people. After witnessing the kind of animosity and brutality that was meted upon the people by the police here, because they were the ones who were actually in charge of these particular operations, questions have actually been asked to the president, and we saw him come strongly to the defense of the police. But one thing that he said is that the police are independent and therefore they operate on their own. Do you believe that?
If they are independent and they operate on their own, why is Kindiki issuing statements? Why is William Ruto saying they will crash down on those criminals? Which tools was he intending to use? Why is Duale deploying KDF? I mean, that's why I tell you, nothing comes out of William Ruto that is true.
Okay.
And the people of Kenya have seen it. He will tell you this, but he means this. We've seen it. There's nothing that will come out of his mouth that the people of Kenya will ever believe.
So
the trust is broken. The police are under the control and command of William Ruto and his people. Everything they have done it to the benefit of that establishment, including the killings, the maiming, disrupting the peaceful demonstrators, abrogating our Article 37 Constitution right to demonstrate. We've had demonstrations that had over almost 1 million people here in the city.
Okay.
Not even a single shop was broken into. Last week on Tuesday, the other week on Tuesday. Until police came and started throwing tear gas, shooting live ammunition at people. It's not the people who are throwing stones. It's the police that attacked the people. And those policemen, you see even hooded men, wearing balaclavas, carrying guns and shooting. As the president, has William Ruto asked the IG to investigate those hooded people who are shooting? Which unit are they from? Okay. Have they been called to account? We've seen policemen abducting people in their homes late in the night. Has he, as the president, has he come out to say, to condemn that police action and say, no, I'm joining the demonstrators? Why are you people abducting our people?
But he says he did not order. The point is,
he did not order, but ultimately he's the national executive. He is the head of the executive. Has he come out even to condemn that action? If not, why can't he join demonstrators tomorrow to say, we are going to now demonstrate against this police excess? Let him join demonstrators and
actually,
say,
this is the question
let him join the demonstrators on the street saying, we are now demonstrating against police killings. We have a rogue police force here that is out on a killing spree. He's not part of me. Let him go out to the streets then with the people. Let him, if he doesn't want to go to the streets, let him issue a statement, address the people of Kenya and say, you are power in your hands. The police have no right to kill anybody who is demonstrating. And if you see a policeman killing anybody, arrest him. Let him do it.
Okay.
That is when we can say he's genuine. But he's trying to gaslight us, trying to pretend he's not. But he's the one who is, and these people are the ones sending these deployments.
Is the president in order to actually absolve himself of any blame on these abductions and failing to take responsibility?
The buck stops with the president, ultimately. The arrow always points to only one direction.
Okay.
Everything that happens in this country, ultimately, even if a rogue policeman went on a killing spree during the demonstrations, to the extent that the executive has not held that rogue policeman accountable, the buck will stop with the head of that executive. There's what we call the command responsibility. He's the ultimate executive in the country. And he will bear highest responsibility. Just like when he was charged in ICC. It's not like William Ruto went out in the streets to kill people or to displace them. No. But he was charged because he was deemed to bear the highest responsibility, even though the charges were withdrawn. But he bore the highest responsibility. So also now, he bears the highest responsibility on the conduct of the policemen who are under his executive. The IG sits in NSAC. Who chairs NSAC? It's him. If there's a total breakdown of law and order, and NSAC has not done anything, who do you blame? You blame NSAC. And within the NSAC's framework, who is the chair of that NSAC? It's him. So he bears the highest responsibility for anything that happens here. And if he wants to absolve himself, he must take action.
Okay.
Failure to take action means he acquiesces to that misadventure by security officers.
Okay. Let's get this off the book. Extrajudicial killings. He says that he promised that that will no longer be the case.
It's happening.
And right now he's saying that none of such a thing has happened actually right now in the country. And I was wondering, is it that we people, or rather the Kenyans, do not understand the meaning of the term extrajudicial?
Extrajudicial killing simply means you execute somebody outside the law.
Okay.
The only killing that is permissible is defined in the law. When somebody is acting in self-defense, for example. somebody has been condemned to death. A terrorist in line of action can be killed by the police. A peaceful demonstrator carrying a Kenyan flag and a water bottle, how is that a threat to anybody? That 80-year-old boy who was they pumped bullets into, Rex, what was the threat that Rex posed? What were the threats that Dr. Margaret posed? And the other 23 that we've been able to account for the deaths.
Okay.
Killed by police bullets. Nobody has been killed by any civilian since this demonstration started. All the recorded deaths and the autopsies are there. All of them have occurred from the bullets fired by police. Is that not extrajudicial killings?
Actually, that's what I was wondering.
So when he says
what's judicial about them, meaning?
Extrajudicial killings means you are killing without the law. So where did these policemen get the authority to kill the people they've killed? When you talk about abductions, my friend, the president of the Kenya School of Law Students Fraternity, a young boy was just grabbed and dumped after 2 days somewhere in Murang'a. Gabriel Oguda was grabbed late in the night, taken around the city, dumped in Kajiado, no charges preferred. And we've seen so many others. Crazy Nairobian, they disappeared with him. We couldn't even see where they didn't even allow him access to lawyers.
And of course, recently,
We
the
had to
former
go-
Nandi Hills member of
Yesterday was Alfred Keter. They grabbed him in high fashion, in the presence of his family. His kids were wailing. His wife is there, traumatized. After they didn't expect Kenyans to have their phones to record it. It was recorded. They quickly released him, declared him to be in Kamukunji police. What was so special about why that dramatic arrest if they wanted to arrest him? So you just tell Alfred Keter is a known person in this country. Just tell him, Alfred, can you report to Kamukunji police? We're doing investigations. All these tactics are meant to scare, to intimidate, and to make people lay down their guard.
How-
They will not succeed.
How does using the police maybe to settle political scores actually affect the president right now, owing to the fact that he was actually against that back in the past? Right now, he's actually...
This is the mistake that all regimes make. The route that Kenya Kwanza has taken, it is not a new route, it's a beaten path. When a regime starts to use that route of misusing the police to undermine their civilians, to kill their civilians, to abduct their civilians, to suspend the rights of the people. That path has been followed before by many other leaders before. And the outcome is the same. Nothing different will happen out of it. It is just an announcement to you that our time is up. These are now the kicks of a dying horse.
Okay.
So Kenya Kwanza must accept that path they are going. They are not the first ones to use it. And they will not be the last. The moment you start misusing the police, the moment you start killing our people, you start abducting them, start suspending the constitution, then just know your end has come. In fact, I always tell people, when you see that happening, then know whatever you are agitating for, victory is here.
Okay.
If you see the state quiet, then you say maybe you are not hitting the right chords. But when they start using those same tactics, because history is replete world over, even in Africa, with regimes that have used the same tactics. The same. To the letter.
Okay.
Unfortunately for William Ruto, there's only one thing that is now even making his speed faster. This thing called the phone. Everything is being recorded live, and we are reporting it as it happens. I don't even think they expected anybody to notice Alfred Keter being abducted. They thought they would just disappear with him. For even 2 days, we keep making noise, take us around all police stations looking for him. But as it was happening, there was already somebody live reporting. And we were able to know it is Alfred Keter. Images of the abductors were captured. So, rest assured that they will not defeat the people. No army in the history of mankind has ever defeated the people. A people united can never be defeated. The Kenyan people are united in their fight for a life of dignity. I told you that the coming political dispensation is going to be about the people's agenda. Anybody who is not talking about the people's agenda is an enemy of the people.
Okay.
And they will be dealt with in the fullness of time. Thank you.
Talk to me about the deployment of the KDF officers. Definitely the first time since 1982, of course, coup, we're witnessing the occupation and entry of our military personnel into the civilian space. Do you think that the circumstances under which we found ourselves on that particular day on 25th of June warranted their presence within? And was the law followed to the letter?
The law was not followed to begin with. Because number one, before you deploy KDF, as per the KDF Act, you must identify the officers to be deployed. You must train them, and there must be grounds, a basis, an emergency that requires their deployment. When did they identify these officers? When did they train them? When did they define the parameters of their deployment? And for how long? And then parliamentary approval. None of that was obtained.
Okay.
So don't tell us to go to the law, because the law already is being ignored by these people. They've just deployed KDF. But I'll say this. By the time he even decides to ignore the law, to deploy KDF, he tells you he's going.
But the judge says otherwise. Actually,
No.
Why did even the judge give them?
The point is, even the judge told them to go and comply with the law in the deployment. Duale went ahead and proceeded to say...
Do you agree with that particular ruling?
The ruling was very stupid to begin with. It's a stupid judgment ruling. Because having found that the law was not followed, what a judge needs to do is simply to say, I nullify the deployment. If you want to cure, go and cure it. Do it as per law. But he found it to be wrong, but then he told them, go and cure.
Okay.
He allowed the deployment and said cure. Duale now issued a gazette notice, we are deploying the whole country. Number one. He didn't even train the officers. He didn't define the period. He said until the day when normalcy is restored. Okay. But the act is very clear. You only deploy for a specific period. But let me tell you this. After KDF, what else will William Ruto deploy? That's the end. I mean, what else can he deploy? He has deployed army. He has deployed police. He has deployed GSU. He has deployed special units, the killer squads. He's now deployed KDF. What else remains? So to the people of Kenya, this is now a confirmation to you that you're on the right track. Victory is here. He's now used all the arsenals. You've been called so many names. KFC eaters, wankers, sijui what. All names have been called on you. You've been told you can never get there. Now he's deployed everything, plus KDF. And still, he has no respite. So it simply confirms to you, victory is here. So the people of Kenya must continue claiming their space. This power is yours. Take it. Take your power. Have a country that believes in you. Get a leadership that will lead as per the social contract you sign with them. That will give you a country of dignity. Will respect the dignity of the human beings here. A country that will be responsive. A government that will be about the people, not about the leaders. That is what the conversation is about. And Kenya Kwanza and William Ruto never got it. Even KDF, they'll deploy, but they'll not succeed. I assure you.
So the government has decided to unleash combatants onto the civilian...
They've even unleashed combatants into the civilians. I'm telling you, the path they are going through, these are paths that are known, have been used before. Even those combatants that they've deployed in Eldoret, that militia, supported by government. I mean, what have we not seen in the world? Right from Serbia, even here in Rwanda, they deployed the same tactics. But they all fail. What else remains?
So Wakili, I'm trying to look at a certain situation, because here we still do not know how long are the military personnel going to be on the ground here, and how do they even conduct their duties in terms of helping the police? Because I saw back then the police could actually arrest you and take you there, but the military people do not actually do that kind of.
So what will they kill the people?
So how? And that is actually what I'm asking.
If they kill the people,
how
let's
are they
say,
going to manage this?
so you send an army to go to war with its citizens. Why do countries have armies?
To protect them against external aggression.
Who is to be protected? Is it the land or the people living on the land?
The people here should be protected.
So now you are deploying that same army to go and kill its own people. I mean, they cannot work. And how many will you kill to say that now we've taken control? And when you are called to account, you are killing them for what? These are not even armed combatants. These are people carrying, I've told you, iPhones or phones and flags. If anything close to a weapon will be a water bottle. And saying we are peaceful. I want to see an army shooting at that crowd. I want to see that an army will shoot at that crowd and there will be no repercussions. There will be no consequences. I want to see. We must attune ourselves to the times. Things will never be the same again in this country. The sooner everybody realizes that, the better.
Things will never be the same, and the sooner we realize this, the better. That is here from Wakili Willis Otieno, who is a constitutional lawyer and a governance and leadership expert, also the deputy party leader to Sabina party. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still on the ground. We'll keep our eyes on what is taking place in this country, and we'll actually keep you updated with all that information. Allow me to stop this conversation at this particular moment till we have it again. Have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans. Okay.